All right, so things are getting more exciting, and we looked at a lot of stuff now: how to create tables, matrices, lists. We looked at various techniques to use some of the controls and stuff like that. In this lecture, I wanted to show you something very cool, right? So we've been working with data a lot, and we haven't talked much about visualization, how to use the graphs, and what are the things that are available, right? So Ssrs provides a rich set of visualization tools. Some of them are charts, graphs, and these are also available in 3D formats to add rich effects to your reports. So Ssrs charts and graphs helps us to summarize the data in a visual format. It enables us to kind of represent very large data sets as aggregated information available at a glance. So Ssrs also added things like spark lines and other stuff like maps, etc., into their visualization toolset. So in addition to the normal data, it also provides us some specific visualization tools like gauges, spark lines, indicators, and one of the most exciting feature I personally like is the usage of maps. And it kind of allows an awesome representation of geographic data using maps. So let's go ahead and look at some very basic visualization techniques so that you get a hang of it. So I'm going to go ahead and just create a new report over here so that I don't mess with any of the existing ones. And I'm going to call this as visual. All right, and we'll go ahead and use the same data source that we just created. Oh, that was not a shared data source, so I'll have to just recreate it again, and I'll do that really very quickly. Data source, and then edit. All right, so we'll connect to our AdventureWorks database, and so that we have some data to work with. And just to keep things very simple, I'm going to use the same sales territory table. All right, so we have this. We'll select all the columns and press OK. OK. All right, so we have some data to work with. Now, the way you can add something over here is right-click, say Insert, and then there is a list of visualization tools available here, right? So let me start with charts. And you see that there are line charts, bar charts, area charts, scatter plots, and stuff like that, right? So let's start with something simple. Let's go ahead and maybe create a normal bar graph. And let's just expand this a little bit. All right. Okay. So the first thing I need to do over here is define what goes in the x-axis, what goes in the y-axis, and then what should be shown in the summary, right? So let me go ahead and choose a few things. What I need over here is maybe the country region codes, and in my summations, I need the sales, and this should kind of give me a quick start, right? So let me go ahead and hit preview. It kind of gives you the country region code wise bar chart, right? Now again, this is a very little immature chart, and then I'm just going to rename the heading CRC sales. And again, one thing is, as I mentioned in the previous lectures, everything is highly customizable. So you can go ahead and right-click title properties, and actually you can start writing expressions for pretty much everything, right? Your color, your text, everything. So it's the same idea. Similarly, if you click on the y-axis, right-click and say vertical axis properties, you can actually configure a lot of things. So like, for example, you can say that this should be a currency, right? And maybe I don't need any decimal places. You can kind of configure the bins and so on and so forth. Let me go ahead and just give this a little bit more room so that we can expand this a little bit. And these are all the series properties that you can configure as well. All right, so when I click preview, you see that the currency $sign has been added, the title has been renamed, and so on and so forth, right? So the similar concept follows. You can right click and maybe add a pie chart now and show the same thing. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's say I wanted by groups, and what I want is the sales YTD, right? So I'll say sales by groups, and I want this a little bit bigger. All right, let's see if that worked. All right, so slowly you see it's the things are forming up here. And again, you can always right click, and there's a couple of things you can do. You can show the data label so that it's more representative of the information. Again, you can highly customize all the values and stuff like that. Right, so you get a basic idea of how the visualization works. I would strongly encourage you to try a couple of other things. The concept is pretty much the same. If you add a gauge, you kind of have to again just define what data goes into it, and then finally all other things including colors, text, font, titles, dynamic titles, all these are fully configurable. And this is basically, this will add a lot of richness to the story you're telling, and this combined with the lists and tabular data formats that I showed you actually helps you to create a very appealing report, very nice aggregation of the data that you're trying to show your management. So highly recommended to play around with some of these graphs, and then we'll see you in the next lecture.